hard to be proud to be an American when America constantly proves that you don't matter.
Walking around like as a young black man is frightening.
Black mothers in the community can agree that their main fear is never being able to see their child come home, never being able to say, I love you.
To be a black man in this country is very complex. You deal with the duality of both the privilege of being the man, but also the disadvantage of being black.
It's infuriating. There's a lot of people who battle internally with themselves because of the way society views them.
It's just good that we're finally here at this point where people's voices can be heard.
When you hear the talk, some of us typically associate it with the birds and the bees. But in black households, the talk can mean something totally different. It is the talk that can get you back home safely. It's the talk that can also mean life or death. Before Mamie Till sent her son Emmett to visit family in Money, Mississippi from Chicago, she gave him a talk, rules on what to do and what not to do to help him navigate the racial hatred he would experience in the Mississippi Delta so he would make it home alive. Well, despite that talk, then Emmett never made it back. He was brutally murdered by two white men after being accused of flirting with a white woman. His mother insisted on an open casket funeral, and when pictures of his mutilated body spread across America, it sparked activism and fueled the fire of the civil rights movement. Now, that was in 1955. Time has passed, and so have laws meant to guarantee equal protections for everyone. Still, the talk is deemed essential in black households, especially as black men and women encounter the police. When all of America watched a police officer kneel on George Floyd's neck for 8 minutes and 46 seconds, for many of us, including myself, it sparked what psychologists called racial trauma. Like the brutal murder of Emmett Till, Floyd's death forced America to face an ugly reality. And as many did in 1955, millions have taken to the streets demanding a change in the treatment of black people. So we asked members of our community to share their experiences of what it means to them to be black in America, their interactions with police, and why they believe the talk was so critical to their survival.
My name is Antonio Travis.
My name is Ariel Wilson Harris.
My name is Jeffrey Daniels.
My name is Kiana Armstrong,
I'm Ken Barnes.
and this here is my son Lance Armstrong.
My name is Jeremiah James.
I like monster trucks, Monster Jam, and Hot Wheels.
I'm El Casimu Harris. I'm a writer, photographer.
I am a brother.
A father of two.
An advocate,
Entrepreneur.
An uncle.
A nephew.
And a black man in America.
So how do you feel being black in this country?
So, my father's from Holly Grove, New Orleans. My mother is from Port Allen, Louisiana. With my parents coming together, knowing that they had two different upbringings and two different experiences, but still experiencing racism in its own, they knew that they had to provide a understanding and a conversation with me that allowed me to continue to think and evolve as racism evolves in our country.
When we have the talk, we talk about, in particular with black men, the two-strike rule. That's by birth, that you are male and that you are black in this country. You can't be yourself when you're in this country. You have to be a shadow of yourself. You have to be this shallowless, emotionless being in order to survive in this country as a black person. With our mentees, we have to educate them on how to navigate systemic racism inside this country.
You know, my father used to always tell me it was mostly centered around self-preservation. It was getting home safely. I never used to wear hooded sweatshirts. You don't wear certain colors, you don't wear certain clothing, you don't wear pants too big, you don't sag your pants. I mean, all of those things, microaggressions as they may be, we all dealt with that just to stay alive.
I've lived in the South most of my life, going to school in Tennessee and Mississippi, and you feel black. You're reminded of your blackness all the time. But I do try to just move freely. It's dichotomous. You know, you want to be free, and I want to live accordingly. But you do realize that there's certain things that you should maybe do differently.
people that are being ignorant, shall I say, to the fact that we as black people are treated extremely different. We see it we see it on a daily basis, the difference between our white counterparts.
It's just a constant questioning of your talent, your gifts. It's a questioning of why are you here, really.
Many people can go their whole day without thinking about their race. But as a black man, your race is on the forefront of your mind.
There's things that you think about that you just make sure you go out your way not to do when you look like me.
Then there's those days where you don't feel safe at all. You don't feel like you belong here. You don't feel like, even though you grew up, I've been in the same city from basically my whole life, and sometimes I still don't feel like I belong here.
I went to a high school that preached respectability politics. So it was all about having your hair a certain way and dressing a certain type of way in order to be accepted by mainstream society. And that's when I knew that what was taught to us was being black wasn't good enough. You know, our culture wasn't good enough. How we look wasn't good enough. You know, that natural hair that come out our heads wasn't good enough.
Getting an education isn't good enough. Having a good job isn't good enough. You constantly have to keep doing more and more and more and more and more. My wife and I, we've done everything that we're supposed to do, you know, by society standards. But you still might end up on the wrong end of a traffic stop or a search warrant.
My mother always told me that I had to be 2 to 3 to 4 times better than my non-black counterparts, because there would be different times where, as I acted, my actions would be graded on a different rubric. The only way to make it is if you present in a almost perfect type of way. It is very stressful on a black man to always have to be in consideration of who's watching.
In order to understand or even get a glimpse of what we're going through, you have to, one, take accountability that systemic racism and oppression is real. If you keep being blinded by the fact that this has never been something that has gone away, it's just been swept under the rug. Now that it's like a pimple, it's coming to a head, and it has popped.
Get over there! Right, yeah.
The night bird calls and shadows creep into my mind.
Was unarmed and his back was turned when the cell phone video showed Slager shoot 8 times.
I do not know if I shall rise or open up these weary eyes.
At least since 1619, black folk have been enslaved.
I'm just trying to get home. I'm just trying to get home. I'm just trying to get home.
You have all these systems that were created that never included black people from the inception of this country.
Hey, big man, hold your hand now. Give me your hand. Your hands behind your back.
Whether it be voting, education, healthcare, all those inequities that have just continued to compound. Now we have to turn to a system for justice that was never set up for us. It was just designed for us to fail.
Since African Americans' existence in America, we have always shared the fact that we are treated detrimentally when compared to our white counterparts, and that has never changed.
Oh, stop! What's your feet? Stop on me. Okay, stop.
What has changed is the existence of cameras.
Stop. Stop. How you treat me? Stop! Get out of the car! And then you gonna stop me? I will light you up. Get out! I've been trying to hear about it. So you breathe looking neck, man. One of my homies died. You ready back from these cars? I'm about to just die, just see. Why? Man, I can't breathe my face. Just get up.
There's always been a disconnect between black men and law enforcement. I've had so many bad experiences with law enforcement.
I actually stayed right down the street from a police station. So every time I walk past it, you know, I'm like, what's going through their mind? Like, are they even looking at me like, oh, is that somebody we should be looking for? And I honestly don't even feel safe sometimes.
It's almost like it's ingrained in us that you are going to have a negative experience with law enforcement at some point in your life. I am nervous every time I see, you know, police cars and things like that. It's just, it's subconscious, but it's happened for so long in my life, I almost don't even really realize it is happening.
I first experienced police brutality at 12 or 13 here in New Orleans, and it's something that's stuck with me and something I think you never truly get over. My dad, when I was about 16 here in New Orleans, I really wanted to go to this Sweet 16 party and drive. So I was saying, but Dad, you know, I have this invitation. And he was like, boy, that don't matter. And he told me the instance of when he pulled out his wallet for the police and they just slapped the wallet out of his hand, a white police officer. And he asked me, why do you think they did that? And at 16, I knew that they were trying to instigate him to react so they could have reason to whoop him, beat him, arrest him.
There is a prejudice and a bias and even believing black people about the pain that they suffer. Well, you know, if you just pull up your pants and you put on a suit, then you don't have to worry about this. Cut off your locks, then you won't have to worry about this. As if having locks is a death sentence to be killed by an officer. Or sagging your pants is a reason for an officer to harass you.
So I haven't had the same talk my father had with me. I think it's a gradual build-up. I do think now that maybe if my dad if he had the talk with me at 16, for my son it has to be younger. I mean, if you think about a Tamir Rice.
He was in the park playing with a toy gun and was killed. I want to be sure that if my son gets pulled over for a traffic violation, that he would just get a ticket and come home. You know, I want to be sure that if my son goes for a morning jog, that he will come home. I want to be sure if my son goes to Walmart just to shop, that he's coming home.
I think as a mother and as a wife, the first thing that I tell my husband when he leaves the house is be careful. And I say be careful because I know that, to be honest with you, I know that the color of his skin could change a situation.
Whatever instruction is given to you, make sure that you comply and listen.
I have to teach you how to act at a traffic stop, which may happen. Keep your hands on the steering wheel. Don't really reach for too much. Just be cool. Just get home safe.
Dealing with the cops, dealing with people, dealing with nonsense, I just often don't engage. Now, that's not to say I don't defend myself. If I have an issue with something, I say it.
It's a lot of folks out here fighting for these young kids just to live.
No justice! We will not win this fight with good. It's not gonna happen.
Black Lives Matter is about unarmed black people getting killed by law enforcement, period. That is what it is.
We at a point in history where it's no in between us. It's no more being on the fence.
I went to that protest for my son.
It's either this side or that side for a lot of us because we've been dealing with this our whole life.
I went for me. I went for my mom. I went for Breonna Taylor. I went for George Floyd. I went for the purpose of being sick and tired.
What we're fighting for is bigger than left wing or right wing.
To see so many people from so many diverse backgrounds come together and say Black Lives Matter, that's educational in itself.
I wanted to show my son as well that you don't have to take that. You don't have to feel less than a person because of the color of your skin.
We're fighting to be treated equally and to be treated like human beings.
I really do think at these protests that people are having dialogue. They're having conversations.
To be an ally means to be a part of this situation without making the situation about you.
It's a long road from where we are to where we want to be. And honestly, we're never going to be complacent. As African Americans, we're gonna always want more, and we deserve it.
What more do we gotta do to be accepted as, you know, human beings?
My parents were very concerned with how do you maintain the innocence of a child while still preparing them for the world and not allowing the world to prepare that child for what the world is.
So tell us about Lance. What do you see when you look at your son?
Oh man, a ball of energy.
A ball of energy?
Very intelligent, a light in a dark room, loves football.
Loves basketball, loves soccer, and loves tennis.
Yes, and just an amazing personality.
My sons are awesome. They love sports. But during this pandemic, I guess, you know, I didn't realize how much they like coding.
I would hope that they see what I see, which is an incredible young black little boy.
Every day our sons leave out the door, we tell them that we love them.
The fear is that they won't come home. The fear is that they're going to get that call. The fear is that their child is going to be another hashtag.
What am I bringing my child into? What are the precautions that I have to take in order to make sure that they are aware and they're educated without overbearing them with so much information at one time due to the color of their skin?
A child is supposed to have innocence, and obviously some of that is ripped from children far too soon.
It's okay, I'm right here with you.
That's a myth to think that these kids don't know what's going on. They see it and they live it the same way we do. And the best thing that we can do is equip them and be a support system for them.
Just the color of his skin, you have these preconceived notions that may have nothing to do with his character, nothing to do with him, but that's how we move throughout the world in a sense that it's called prejudice. We do have I'm Black and I'm Proud. We talk about that. We talk about race. We talk about all black people are not good, all white people are not inherently bad. But we're talking about knowing how to, when you see a threat, being able to recognize it.
I do not want him to grow up with anger in his heart to hate and disrespect authority when it comes to police or anyone for that matter.
There's some discomfort in having these kind of conversations, but it has to happen.
Speak to Lance, if this were Lance in the camera, and you were having the talk with him, what would you say to Lance?
I shouldn't have to have this conversation with my son. I shouldn't have to tell my son that there are going to be white people that don't like you. Not because of your talent or not because of you. They're not going to like you because of your skin. I shouldn't have to have that conversation with my son. My son should be able to live a free and happy life as a child. My son has a heart full of love, and I feel like having that conversation with him will put hate into his heart with people, and I don't want that for him. I don't.
I am fearful for the day because there will be something throughout my stepson's lifetime that will trigger something with race. That's what I fear. I fear for my son to wind up in that system or my husband to wind up in that system. or for them not to even live to even get a fair trial.
I shouldn't have to have this, deep conversation, but it's a must.
Fearful for our mentees, but we're very prideful. These young men are fearless. The best thing that we can do for them is to equip them with the tools they needed to survive.
I have to plan and prepare him for his future, even if that means preparing him for the worst of his future.
That's the road of life down by the river. But be careful.
It's a tough conversation that you have to have, but I'd rather just have it sooner than later. Because it does take a long time to process. I'm 34 years old almost, and I'm still processing it now. So it's gonna take a while.
There is a song for everybody down by the river. And if you feel
It's frustrating that nobody understands but us.
moving out back down by the river, moving out back to free my soul, moving out.
When you're in my skin, a split-second decision can sometimes lead to an encounter that can become deadly in the blink of an eye. You see, despite my college degree, my career, and the respect I've received from some of my peers and community members, it does not negate the fact that I am black. And in being black in this country means at some point or another, you will experience implicit or explicit bias. I've had the misfortune, like so many others, of experiencing both. Now, the trauma from those experiences, as you heard through our story, can leave you with a feeling of anxiousness, of anger, and sometimes hopelessness. But are we at a turning point in this country? Could we see the calls for justice, equal opportunity, and understanding finally be answered? After taping our story, Kasimu and Ariel welcomed a beautiful baby boy into this world. Let's hope this time, when he's old enough for the talk, it will be about the birds and the bees. Thanks for listening. Good night.